Okay, we'll record. So this is going to go on our YouTube as well. So I went today into our shul, which I wanted to share with you. It was to record a video. Now different organizations are like reaching out to me. They see my videos and my different shiurim, so they want me to post somewhat longer shiurim, somewhat shorter shiurim. And one organization reached out to me that they wanted something on tefillah, on prayer. So I decided. I decided to go to the shul. I had to go get some things, and I parked the car not far from our shul. So I went into the shul, and I decided to do a 3-minute video from there because I miss it. I miss the community and the coming into the shul. And I figured it'll be, if we're doing a video on tefillah, and there's a video in English which is going to go out to more of the American communities which don't even have minyanim. Not only are they not in shul, we have, if you have a local parking lot minyan or something like that, which again, I don't recommend for our kehillah to go down to, but if you do, so we have the option of minyanim. Most of American Jewry does not even have options of minyanim. Some do in balconies, things like that, but that's why I decided to go back into our shul, and it's always emotional for me going in there, seeing the the empty walls, and it's always vibrant. I'm usually not the first one to show up in shul. Usually when I show up, it's a full shul already, and but we should be zocha. We should be zocha to come back into our shul and to hear words of Torah and words of singing and of tefillah and do it together as a kehillah. And I do believe that when all of this is finished, we will come back into our shul as a stronger kehillah, as a more united kehillah. And I'm really excited for that day. I wanted to share with you a thought that I've been processing from this week's Parsha, and it comes right from the beginning of the Parsha. See, because definitely from my angle, we've been involved in homeschooling since Pesach, and the children are learning from home, and it's a challenge, and there's a lot of things that are special about it and things that are challenging about it. Now that there's conversation about the kids going back to school starting this Sunday, so it was really the time period for me to focus in and to try to understand really what was special about this time period, the time period that they're home. And for so many people, they're continuing to do homeschooling. In America, for sure, school is till the rest of the year. School is going to be online and at home. And I believe there's something very, very special to what you can learn only at home and you can't learn in school. And there's a certain wake-up call for us about that. Because, is it normal that all of our children's education is done by some other people? Are we not part of that education? It's obvious that we need to be a part of our children's education and even our grandchildren's education. And I believe that there's something unique that parents could give over that no teacher could give over. Something that is learned specifically at home. And I believe that the hint for that is actually in this week's Torah portion, right in the beginning, the first pasuk. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Emor el haKohanim bnei Aaron ve'amarta alehem lenefesh lo yitama be'amav. You should speak to the Kohanim. Hashem tells Moshe to speak to the Kohanim, the children of Aaron, ve'amarta alehem, and you should speak to them lenefesh lo yitama be'amav. And right away, when we look at that pasuk, it says it twice. Why does it say Emor el haKohanim, speak to the Kohanim, and you should speak to them? So famous Rashi says, Emor ve'amarta lehazir gedolim al haktanim. It says Emor, and then it says ve'amarta. Why? Because he's now introducing them to the laws of Tumah, to the laws of Tara, and therefore the adults are very careful as a Kohen not to touch this and not to touch that, and to be very careful with how they carry their life. On top of that, not only them that are above bar mitzvah, even the adults should teach the children how to be careful. It's sort of like right now, during this whole entire coronavirus, not only were we careful, washing our hands and wearing gloves and a mask, we're even educating our children. If you went outside, you come back in, first thing you do is wash your hands. You get them into the culture of that type of routine. And more ve'amarta. And therefore, it doesn't just mean you should speak to the Kohanim. It's rather you should speak to the Kohanim, and they should also speak to their children, which is how Rashi is explaining it based on the measures. But the Lashon should say, Emor el haKohanim bnei Aaron ve'amru alehem, and they should tell to them. But it doesn't say ve'amru alehem. It says ve'amarta alehem, that you should speak to them again, meaning we're speaking to the Kohanim, and we're telling them a certain mitzvah of living a life of kedusha and of tahara, and then we should speak to them again. It doesn't say that they should speak to their children. So I think there's an additional shot. I think it is that they're going to teach their children, but the question is, how are they going to teach their children? And this is really the chiddush that I want to share with you, because I think it's very basic, but yet very profound. See, in Jewish education, the truth is in every education, but specifically in Jewish education, there's two parts to the education. There is part number one, which is what we do. What are the mitzvos that we do? What is mutter? What is usser? This is how you do it. It's very basic. It's something that you can learn in school. You take a lulav, you shake it like this. You build a sukkah has like this. You make the kid. Everything is the actions we could teach, and we could tell our children what to do. Wear tzitzis, make a bracha, do this, do that. We could tell them what to, don't do that. That's muktzah. You're not allowed to do this. This you are allowed to do. So that's very, very structure of the do's and the don'ts of Judaism. But there's a whole other realm in Jewish education, which is sometimes overlooked. And that is the realm that is unique to parents. And what's that realm? That realm is not the what yes to do and what not to do, but rather the why, the feeling, the hergish, the twinkle in the eye, the simcha, the kedusha that you see on your grandfather's face when he makes a kaddish, when he makes kiddush, when he gets excited to sit in the sukkah for the first time. It's the feeling that only could get transmitted when you experience it, when you see it, when you're in the learning experience. You're not learning about something, but you're actually doing it, you're feeling it, and you see how your role models, how the people that you respect and you emulate, how they're doing it, and you're learning something out of that. And I believe that's why it says to Bnei Aaron to say to them twice, Emor el HaKohanim, tell them the halachos and the do's and the don't, ve'amarta aleim, but tell them again, so that they should live their life of kedusha, of Tara, with that excitement, with that passion. And that's something that will transmit to their children, lahazir gedolim al ktanim, to warn the elders for the young ones. The young ones will learn it through seeing and experiencing their parents. So yes, we're in a time period which is hard, a lot of learning online, and we need our teachers to help us. I'm talking personally. It's hard for us to educate 5 kids at the same time, make sure that everyone has their time. So we have computers set up and phones and everything. But there's something unique, and this is a lesson that I'm taking for myself. There's something unique during this time period, that they're seeing their father at home. They're seeing their mother at home. They're seeing how they're doing the mitzvos, when they get up and how they daven, because we were davening at home half of the time, and how they're learning. And are they learning? And are they saying brachos? They're benching in the middle of the day. It's not just benching on Shabbos. It's the whole experience. How are we doing it? Lahazir gedolim alaktan, to encourage the elders to live a life of tahara. So too, the ketanim will learn how to live a life of tahara. And that brings us to another mitzvah in this week's parasha, which is very unique. Unfortunately, we're in a time period where a lot of Jews were nifter. And we just ended a whole tkufa of Yom HaZikaron, and a week before that is Yom HaShoah, and we're so used to taking comfort. Unfortunately, Am Yisrael has been through many tragedies before, and there's something comforting about, many Jews, they died al Kiddush Hashem. It was very unfortunate circumstances, but we have the mitzvah of dying al Kiddush Hashem. In this pandemic, unfortunately, so many Jews perished in the United States, in London, in Italy, in Paris, and the numbers are already in the thousands, or definitely just in the United States, it's close to 1,000 people, and it's a devastating thing. And in a certain way, though, it's hard for us, because like how do we explain it? It wasn't necessarily that they died al Kiddush Hashem because they were Jewish. And I think that it brings out another aspect, which is connected to the first aspect that we spoke about, which is a mitzvah in this week's parasha. As Hashem says, again, he says this to the Kohanim, but it applies to all of us. V'lo techalalu et Shem Kodshi v'nikdashti betoch b'nei Yisrael ani Hashem mekadishchem. It says v'lo techalu Shem Kodshi. There's a mitzvah of a Navera of Chil Hashem, and there's a mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. Now we're so used to Kiddush Hashem being dying al Kiddush Hashem. I'm a Jew. I know what I'm willing to die for. My life means something. My Judaism means something, and I know what I'm willing to die for. But there's even a greater mitzvah, which is to live al Kiddush Hashem, to spend every day living al Kiddush Hashem. That when people see how you're acting outside, they say, "Oh, this is somebody who is connected to Hashem, is connected to his mitzvahs, is connected to his values. This is somebody that his parents must be proud of him because of the way he's grown up. This is somebody that his family is probably very proud of him because he's established such a family." It's, it's easy sometimes for us to make that big jump. I remember when I was in high school, we went on a trip up north in the Golan. It was maybe called the Yahudia. Yahudia is I remember if it was the Yahudia or the Zavitan. It was one of these trails with a river up in the Golan. And high school kids, like high school kids are, we get to this cliff. It must be, 15 meters of a cliff or 10 meters of a cliff. A really high jump. And like a few of the brave ones jumped right into the water from the top of the cliff down to the water. And it's like, oh, come on, jump, and this and that. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it seemed like 15. I don't think it was 15 meters. That's a lot. But to me, it seemed like a huge jump. It was definitely 3 times my height that we needed to jump down. And then comes the peer pressure. It's like, jump, you could do it, jump. And like a good high school kid, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I got this. And there's a certain fear, and you jump and you make it, and that's it. You made it. That's it. You took all of the energy into one action of like excitement, and that's it. It's over. You're not going to be tested on that again. It's not like you're jumping every 2 minutes. That was it. That was the jump. I made it. I'm a hero. I'm one of the cool guys in the high school. I didn't have to go down the ladder, but I was able to jump. There's a certain adrenaline that comes sometimes when you need to do one thing. Unfortunately, some Jews needed to have that adrenaline, and they're willing to die al Kiddush Hashem. It's so much harder to set a specific goal for ourselves and to work our way up to reach that goal, to live a certain lifestyle every single day, day in and day out. And that's what Sfirat HaOmer is all about. That's what the sphere is all about. Rabbi Wein spoke about it yesterday. We're counting up, where every day it's the time period where we're trying to train ourselves, train our actions to live al Kiddush Hashem, to live a life of Kedusha, not only that we're doing the mitzvahs of what to do and what not to do, but we're living a life of Kedusha that our emotions are in. Our emotions are in, and therefore our house and our family feels the vibes of Kedusha. It's not something that is coming and we're just doing it by robots, but rather it's something that we feel, and therefore we start living our lives al Kiddush Hashem. And those are the 2 unique lessons that are really one lesson in this week's Parsha. And I think it's something that we could take for ourselves. A little Chizuk, a little inspiration we could take for our Shabbos is to try, and this is really what this whole wake-up call is about, is we're not doing it just because it's routine. We're not doing it because it's routine. We're doing it because we care about it. We're doing it because we love it. We're doing it because we're excited about it. And yes, we're home alone. It's the time to juice it up, juice up our Shabbos, sing songs that you haven't sung in a long time, and turn your Shabbos table into something that is entertaining, that is gishmak, that is exciting, that is, you're playing a game at the Shabbos table, things that maybe we haven't done in a long time. I think whether we're eating this coming Shabbos alone in our home, or whether we're eating with a spouse, or I don't know if any of us are starting to go to another neighbor on the floor or something like that. But either way, it is one of the lessons that we learned from this week's Parsha. Besides all of the moados and the holidays that we spoke on Monday, the GPS of our life is really to live life, not just with the what I'm doing and how to do it, but rather with the why I'm doing it, with the understanding, with the excitement in our lives. When we do it like that, we are sure to see that excitement transmit to our children, to our grandchildren, to our great-grandchildren. And it's never too late, because kids pick up on it. They pick up on the vibe of the voice. They pick up on the excitement over the phone and on what they see their parents and grandparents are doing. And it's something that we're going to be doing for ourselves, but also for our families and for the continuation of all the generations that are after them. With that, I want to wish you a great Shabbos. Should be a Shabbos full of simcha, full of bracha, full of atzlacha, full of all the great things. You should know that we are all here for one another as one community, and we're very blessed for that.